I'm required to show this slide, but I actually hate it. It shows when you should apply for programs. For most programs at Humber, the best thing to do is to apply as early as possible. Some programs fill up in a week. That's programs like early childhood education, nursing, social work. These programs are very, very popular, and we have limited space for international students. Most students are Canadian. Even programs like global business management, which is quite popular in India, fills up quite fast. So it's best to apply as early as possible. Our requirements for India. So for students doing their 12th, we require a 70% average and all required subjects above 70%. What that means is if your program requires math or accounts, like a business program, that specific subject, either math or accounts, must be over 70%. Also, your cumulative average must be above 70%. It doesn't mean every subject. So if you have one subject that's even a 60, that's okay. The average though must be at 70%. Accounts can be substituted for math for business programs. We have one program that has a higher requirement, which is mechanical engineering, and it requires an 81% on math. That program, we will not take accounts. Students need an 81%, which I know is extremely difficult. And some people have said, you're racist. This is horrible. It's terrible to international students. That's actually the same requirement we have for Canadian students. So Canadians and internationals all must get 81%. For our bachelor degrees, we also require 70% in 12th. The difference though is in our bachelor degrees, if a student does not have math, we allow them to do an extra math at Humber. So in some ways, the degree is more flexible to get into than the diploma. For 1 to 1.5 year undergraduate certificates, these are programs like plumbing techniques, welding techniques, the more really hands-on technical programs, 60% average is required. If you're looking for a graduate program, which most students I find that I meet through GeeBee are looking for a graduate program, we require first class graduation, which for most universities means above 60%, but it does depend on your institution. What we're always looking for is that title, first class graduation. Any student who has second class, we won't even consider. So you must have first class graduation. We also have some students who have a bachelor degree with second class and a master's degree with first class. We don't accept it. The bachelor degree itself must be first class graduation. I have the requirements here for backlogs, even though right now we're not looking at that, but we will start again if you're looking to apply in a year or so. Once things are better in India and in Canada, we will start requiring backlog summaries again. But right now we only allow 2 backlogs for 3-year programs or 4 backlogs for 4-year programs. I'll skip over this one because I've already said that. The cost to study at Humber is anywhere between $15,000 to $18,000 for diplomas and advanced diplomas. And for postgraduate programs or bachelor degrees, it's anywhere from $16,000 to $19,000. Humber requires payment by semester, not by year. So you would pay half this amount when you come to Humber. If you decide you don't want to come to Humber, you want to switch to another school and you've already paid, we will keep $1,000. However, if the reason you can't come to Humber is COVID related, it's related to the disease, we'll refund all your money. So you don't have to worry about that at this point. We will not keep $1,000 if the reason you cannot come is related to the virus. All Humber fees include health insurance and school fees, but this does not include living expenses. Here's a slide where it talks about how much it will cost to live in Canada. So it says here anywhere between $28,500 to $37,000. Please know it's different for every single student. I know some students who are very frugal and they'll live in a shared apartment where the rooms are kind of split in half and they live in very tight quarters. They can save a lot of money like that. The biggest expense in Canada is rent, and Toronto is not a cheap city. So rent is your #1 expense. I also know students who will spend more than this, right? Students who feel like they need to eat meals in restaurants a lot, students who want to live by themselves right downtown. The best way to save money when you're living in Toronto is to not live downtown. Downtown is very, very expensive and the rents can be double the cost of living closer to Humber campus. If you've received an offer from Humber, it's very important to confirm that offer. And if you're working with GeeBee, GeeBee knows this super, super well. They know that students have to confirm their offer. Usually you get like a 2-week period to do that. If you don't click confirm, your offer is gone. So it's very important to give you to confirm your offer, because we will take it away. There's always students waiting behind the student who hasn't confirmed. So it's really important to do that. Make sure to pay the first semester fees before the date on your acceptance letter. And again, with COVID, we're being a bit flexible about this for the September term. But generally, and for future semesters, you have to pay before the fee date. Try to pay your fees about 2 weeks early, because sometimes money transfers take time. Right now, we do all of our payments through a company called Flywire. GeeBee can also talk to you about this, but it means that the money gets to us faster. So usually, even within just a few days, it will still come to us, but 2 weeks early is safe, so please try to pay a little bit early. And again, we will refund the money if it's COVID related, or even if your visa gets denied. If your visa is denied, we'll pay you back all the money that you sent. Also, if students want to change a seat in their program, it is not a simple process at all. As soon as you decide you want to change from the offer you get to another one, you have to inform us, and then we will cancel your first offer and we'll put you towards the new program. But it will still take usually between 3 to 4 weeks to put you into the new program. During those 3 to 4 weeks, if the program you want fills up, you will not get an offer and you lost your original offer. So think very carefully before you change programs. And if you're not sure, check, we have a page which shows whether programs are open, closed, or waitlisted, and check with GeeBee, and then they can let you know if there's an option for maybe switching programs. Otherwise, it's best to stick with the program you got, because it's the best chance you can come to Humber. For housing, we do have a dormitory on campus. We have a dormitory at both our Lakeshore and our North Campus, so both of them have a place for you to stay if you choose. Keep in mind, staying on campus is usually more expensive than staying off campus. So most of our students are actually staying off campus. There's a few websites listed here. If you have connections in Toronto, it's always good to use those connections to ask about places to live. And I usually find it's good to ask for a temporary place first. If you can find a place to stay for a month at the start, and this is assuming, again, there's not the virus, this is in the normal situation, it's good to do that. And during that time, you can find a neighborhood you like, you could find roommates to live with. So usually it's a good idea to have a temporary place to stay at the start when you first come to Toronto. This is what our dormitory rooms look like. So this is a single room. In this style of room, many students will share many different bathrooms. This is what we call our apartment style dormitory, which is a 2-person space, but the rooms are separated by a wall. So you have your own bedroom with your own window and your own desk, but these students will share a bathroom with just each other. So they don't share a group washroom space, they just share one washroom between 2 students.